Hello. In this presentation, we will talk about what a chipset is in computing. My teammates, Marianne, Danny, and Esteban, and I, Preston, will be presenting this topic. A chipset is a set of chips, NOR bridge and SUD bridge, that coordinate the communication between different main components of the computer and the CPU. The meaning of a chipset is a collection of things, but it is not a specific component. It is important to mention that in the early days of computers, there wasn't chipset, and the CPU was directly connected to the RAM, hard drive, and peripherals through a chip that controlled and coordinated the communication between this component and the CPU individually. Later, in the 90s, as computers became more in demand, it became necessary to change the way components communicated with the CPU. This is when the term chipset was introduced. And Intel was the one to bring this term into light with the processors Intel 430HX and Intel 430FX, along with their respective NOR bridge and SUD bridge architecture. However, nowadays, with the integration of more powerful processors like Intel's i3, i5, and i i7, some of the primary functions of the NOR bridge have been taken over by the CPU.
Chipset architecture. The chipset is like a traffic controller on the motherboard, ensuring that all the components of the computer communicate efficiently. It handles the data flow between the CPU, memory, storage devices, and peripherals such as the USBs, network adapters, and audio devices. Historically, chipsets were divided into two parts, the North Bridge and South Bridge. The North Bridge was responsible for fast communication with components such as the RAM and the GPU, which require high-speed connections to function optimally. On the other hand, the South Bridge managed slower devices like hard drives, USB ports, and audio controllers. This division allowed the system to optimize differently and different types of data and traffic. Today, many of the North Bridge functions, especially those related to memory management, are integrated directly to the CPU, reducing latency and improving system efficiency. Main components of the chipset. As I said before on the previous slide, the North Bridge handles high-speed tasks such as managing data flow between the CPU, RAM, and graphic cards. These tasks require fast access to memory and quick responses, especially for gaming or graphic-intensive applications in general. As technology advanced, manufacturers began to integrate many of these high-speed functions directly to the CPU, which helped reduce the number of components on the motherboard and improve the overall system performance. This left the South Bridge in charge of managing peripherals such as the USB ports, the storage devices, and the system audio and network controllers. While the North Bridge is no longer a separate physical component in modern systems, the chipset still ensures that the CPU can communicate effectively with other system components, maintaining a smooth flow of data. Connections and communication buses. A key part of chipset's job is managing the data buses that connect the CPU to other parts of the system. The most important bus today is the PCI Express, which is used for high-speed communication between the CPU and components like graphic cards, SSDs, and other expansion cards. PCI provides a very fast data transfer, which is critical for activities like gaming, video editing, and other performance demanding tasks. Other buses that contain the computer, such as the SATA or SATA, connect storage devices like hard drives and SSDs to the system. And last but not least, the USB bus is the one that is in charge to handle communication with external devices like keyboards, mouses or mice, and storage drives. The chips manage these connections to ensure that the data flows effectively, distributing bandwidth according to system needs. This prevents bottlenecks, where a component could slow down the overall system performance if it doesn't receive the data it needs fast enough. And the evolution of chipset architecture. The architecture of chipset evolved dramatically over the years. In early computer designs, the separation between the North Bridge and South Bridge was necessary because of the limitations of how fast data could travel between the CPU and other components. However, as technology improved, manufacturers found ways to integrate many of the North Bridge tasks like memory and graphic management directly into CPU itself. This reduced the physical size of the chips and improved communication speed, resulting in faster and more responsive systems. The trend towards integration continues with modern chipsets handling fewer tasks as more functionality is embedded within the processor. And in the future, chipsets are likely to become even more specialized, particularly as systems that are optimized for uh, more advanced technologies such as AI or artificial intelligence and machine learning applications. These emerging technologies demand immense processing power and bandwidth, and future chips that will need to handle these workloads effectively while keeping latency to the minimum.
Main functions of the chipset. Internal communication management. The chipset coordinates communication between the CPU and other key components such as RAM, hard drives, and expansion cards, like the GPU. It acts as a controller that ensures these elements exchange data quickly and efficiently. Its function is to prevent bottlenecks and ensure that data flows smoothly, allowing the processor to operate at peak performance without delays or conflicts between connected devices. Peripheral control. The chipset also manages external devices such as USB ports, external drives, and network cards. It regulates the data flow between them and the CPU, ensuring that peripherals function correctly without overloading the system. Support for expansion and compatibility. Another crucial role of the chipset is to support system expansion. This includes managing expansion slots like PCI Express, which allows the addition of new graphic cards or storage devices. Additionally, the chipset determines the system's compatibility with technologies such as the type of RAM that can be installed, supported processor types, and the speed of storage ports. This enables the systems to be updated and expanded in the future. Another function is power management, as it optimizes the energy usage of CPU, memory, and peripherals according to the system's needs. This is especially important in portable devices, helping to extend battery life and prevent overheating. In summary, the chipset coordinates internal communication, manages peripherals, facilitates expansion, and controls power, ensuring efficient system performance.
Chipsets have changed a lot to meet the needs of modern technology. They are not used to connect parts anymore. Now they play an important role in areas like artificial intelligence, saving energy, and advanced to connectivity. Below, we will look at four key trends that are shaping the future of chipsets. One of the most important trends is aiding artificial intelligence and machine learning to chipsets. This is done through special processing units like NPUs, which help complete complex tasks more efficiently. This improves the speed of things like voice and image recognition. Another key trend is better energy efficiency. Modern chipsets are made to give more performance while using less power, which is very important for mobile devices. Also, architectures like ARM Big Lady allow devices to choose when to use high performance cores and when to save energy. Finally, modern chipsets are adding advanced connectivity technologies like 5G and Wi-Fi 6E, which allow faster data speeds and low delays, important for the Internet of Things. Plus, security at the hardware level has greatly improved with features like TPM modules, which protect sensitive data directly for the chipset, adding an extra layer of protection. In short, modern chipsets are not only improving performance, but also leading to way to smarter, safer, and more connected devices. With these advancements, technology keeps growing into new areas, helping both our daily lives and progress in artificial intelligence, IoT, and security.